Hello, it's me again. Happy New Year's Eve. And I'm looking out the window and I still see an excessive amount of beautiful white snow. And it's really cold. I'm ready for spring. And it's just barely winter. Okay, don't really have any funny story to tell yet today, except I will tell you that my first episode took literally 36 hours to upload. Thank you, Ziply Fiber, which really isn't fiber, it's just DSL. We're at the end of the line. So our internet speeds are kind of like having a 1200 baud modem. Do you remember the old dial up days? Don't have any of those crazy noises, but that's about how quickly my internet works. So, without further ado, let's jump into chapter 3. What do you think Captain Gadsden's going to say to our friend? What do you think Enkoo said to Captain Gadsden? I'm dying to see what's going to happen. Oh, okay, here we go. Chapter 3. What could the captain want with me? Surely I didn't have anything to do with whatever Enkoo had foreseen. Pinkerton smirked like he knew something that I didn't, and he was probably bluffing, or at least I hope so. So, squared my shoulders, straightened my uniform, and made the walk through the laneway of desks. Enkoo trudged past me on his way out, his cheerless gaze landing on me for just an unsettling second too long. Ooh, kind of made my skin crawl. Or maybe I was just unnerved and imagining things. Let's hope so. Captain Gadsden was already seated and waved at me to take the other chair. Everything from his well-ordered desk to his neatly pressed uniform and tidy steel gray buzz cut reflected a precise and organized mind needed to herd his large and diverse force of interspecies personnel in roughly the same direction. Do you think that that's like herding cats? I shut the door behind me and tried to tell what was coming by his expression. This confirmed that I was definitely not clairvoyant. Officer Ridley, well done on saving the child this afternoon. I released my breath but didn't quite relax. No one responds to looming trouble with a sudden desire to praise the rookie. Thank you, sir, but it wouldn't have happened without Aurelius. We barely got there in time as it was. For some reason, my statement made his jaw tighten. Yes, I've seen the report, and you're the only one that she will agree to fly anywhere. It's because I do the paperwork, sir, I explained helpfully. Aurelius was the biggest bookworm I had ever met, in the literal and figurative senses. But she loathed paperwork with the fiery passion of, a dragon. So we'd struck a deal. She'd get both of us on site faster than anyone else could travel, and I would do the reports. Sometimes I thought Aurelius had gotten the better of that end of the bargain, but it was a huge concession for a dragon to deign to carry a lowly human, and our intervention before a fatality rate was better than any other duo in the unit. Hence, all those important assignments that so frustrated my colleagues. It's not just because you do the paperwork. Last time you took sick leave, Perez offered her the same deal, and Aurelius insisted he take a ground vehicle. She arrived 6 minutes ahead of him, and the perp fled into a pre-revolution building where she couldn't follow him without causing significant property damage. The perp had a gun and plenty of time to find a good vantage point, so we had to send in a team of 6 to get him out. Unable to help myself, I asked in morbid fascination, did Aurelius actually do the paperwork herself? Surely she'd gotten out of it somehow. Yes, as a matter of fact, she did, and it was the best report I'd read in a year, and she delivered it in a much more timely manner than you, may I add. My tired fingers clenched. Unbelievable. That little... Captain Gadsden rubbed his temples like he was getting a migraine. I have received another complaint. My stomach twisted in knots. My magic was an unusual case. Stranded alone on a desert island, I was the only human in the post-revolutionary world who could draw no magic to my aid. But if I touched someone, anyone, I could use their magic like it was my own until we broke contact. Unfortunately, because no one else's magic necessitated siphoning it from others, people didn't always react well when I helped myself. Like, look at me, Mustang guy. You remember Jerkface? Even if it didn't harm them in the slightest bit. About my borrowing someone's magic, I asked, already knowing the answer. That was not the word that the victim used. That's what he called himself. Claimed you assaulted him and stole his magic. Assault? Did you or did you not use his own magic to spill coffee on him? I had the sensibility to blush a little. Well, that was a distraction to enable me to do what was needed. And because he's pissed me off with his self-absorbed honking. What if that loud noise had caused the summoned monster to spook and go berserk and kill that little girl? Even so, I had been stupid. Gadsden rubbed his temples some more. Did you identify yourself as a police officer and request his aid? There wasn't time. The captain met my eyes. I believe you, but regrettably, that will be difficult to prove in a court of law, especially when the person you allegedly assaulted happens to be the Clark County Commissioner's son. We'd had variations of this conversation multiple times. I wanted to believe that my magic usage came under the Passe Comitas law, which allowed I said that wrong, but forgive me. It allowed a police officer to appropriate a citizen's private property to aid in a case of immediate and impending public danger. The one they love to exploit in movies, with the badass cop yanking people out of their cars while yelling something about commandeering the vehicle. That rarely happened in real life, but if you could prove the public danger was immediate, imminent, and extreme, you'd probably get away with it. Nevada law even still permitted officers to summon and deputize private citizens to come to their aid, but that would be more like my directing a citizen to use their magic to aid me. Unfortunately, because my magic was so unusual, there were no precedents of police officers seizing someone's magic for the public good. Never mind that multiple governments around the world had forcibly conscripted the most powerful magic users into their service. The law was still scrambling to catch up to the vast magical implications that stretched across every industry. And the bottom line was, I was on shaky ground at best. I'm afraid I have no choice but to suspend you, Lyra, starting immediately. What? This isn't your first complaint. I know, but this is not a negotiation. I shut my mouth. The complainant agreed that 2 weeks suspension without pay would be sufficient action on my part, that he would not feel the need to press charges. Charges? Seriously? He is a jerkface. But then I had known that already. I just hadn't known what a powerful jerk he was. Not that it would have changed anything. Think about it, Gadsden ordered. Regardless of who won, the damage to the LVMPD's public perception would be unacceptable. I made myself say the words even as my heart sank down to my boots. Yes, sir. 2 weeks suspension, a black mark on my record, and no pay. Ouch. Worse, no way to stop it from happening again, because the next time I could use my magic to save a life, I would do it. Captain Gadsden looked no happier about it than I did. This is a very inconvenient time. Enkoo has foreseen a citywide disaster tonight, right in the middle of the Revelation Day festivities, And by suspending you, I'll be handicapping Aurelis. His words were a reminder that there were far bigger things at stake. A citywide disaster? Enkoo might be gloomy by nature, but he was not prone to exaggeration. Sick fear nestled in the space in my heart, nudging up against my breastbone and kneading the cavity with needle-like claws. Sorry, sir. Wait, why was I apologizing for getting suspended? Any details of what the threat is or where it's coming from? He hesitated a moment, and then his eyes met mine. That is no longer your concern. Oh. Gadsden massaged his temples again. It was definitely a migraine. I know you're just trying to save lives out there, and I'm not about to fire you, but if you can't make this work without pissing off the public, I'm going to have to transfer you to a desk job and assign Aurelis a new partner. The sour bile forced its way back up my throat with a vengeance. Oh, being benched might be worse than the firing. I hadn't put myself through years of fitness, combat, and weapons training, and then endured all of the danger and psychological strain of the job to become a paper pusher. Hell, if I could have found fulfillment in being a desk jockey, I would have chosen a more lucrative career path for sure. The captain shook his head, and I thought I saw a flash of pity in his steely gaze. In any case, you have 2 weeks to figure it out.